Today's Morning First Alert Weather Show is brought to you by Sam Bernstein Law.
Well, good Wednesday morning. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro with a check on your First Alert forecast here on this First Alert Weather Show. And for today, we are tracking some pretty quiet weather overall, but the big story going forward from here is going to be that next round of snowfall. In fact, 2 rounds of snow that'll be moving in, one for tomorrow and then one for Friday. Those 2 rounds that we're tracking were previously just 1 round of snowfall that we were initially seeing Thursday evening into Friday morning. But again, the latest that we have on that is that it is starting to split up into 2 separate waves of snowfall. I actually do want to get you right to that here in the forecast. So this is the latest that we have for you. Again, 2 main rounds of snow. The first one is going to be tomorrow afternoon. The second one is going to be on Friday morning. Combining the totals from all of the snowfall, we are tracking just about 1 to 3 inches for most of our area. So it certainly is not expected to be very heavy snow by any means, much more steady, gradually moving through our area. We do still expect at least some slick areas for the commute both tomorrow afternoon and then on Friday morning. So I do want to first alert you to that. Really, I think the best way to put this is that roads certainly are not going to be normal as far as drive times go, but I definitely don't think that we're going to see the most major of delays like we have seen with other heavier storm systems before. So just some takeaways here with the snow that we are going to be tracking. With these delays, I would expect them to start during the early afternoon tomorrow. Going into the night, at least early in the night, we do still expect some slick spots. We could possibly see a little bit of improvement, especially as more road crews are putting treatments down. And then on Friday in the morning, that's again where we see some more delays. However, by Friday afternoon, we should see more improvement as well. One important thing to highlight is that temps are going to be in the 20s, the mid-20s tomorrow, and then this right here on your screen, these are the highs for Friday. We're talking 34 to 35 degrees, so even milder, at least relatively milder on Friday too. But in these temperatures, road salt is very effective, so again, that's why we do expect roads to mainly just be wet, especially by Friday afternoon. But I'd say even late in the day tomorrow, despite the snow falling, with road crews out there putting salt down, and with traffic just driving over that snow too, I think we'll see a lot of just wet roads, especially towards the end of the afternoon for your Thursday. Let's take a look at that snowfall total map, and I will say there isn't really anything too discerning on the map here. We have 1 to 3 inches for most of the TV5 viewing area, and realistically, we could have just put that 1 to 3 across our entire area too, but we did specifically want to carve out that central Michigan region towards Mount Pleasant, Alma, and Ithaca, because some of our data, and I will say it is a little bit odd, but some of our data has been suggesting that possibly those areas in central Michigan almost have sort of a little bit of a hole in the snow totals. So again, something a little bit unusual that we're seeing in the data, but we are still going to monitor that for now. So we have just slightly lowered the totals in that region. But realistically, again, by Friday afternoon, when everything is all said and done, we do expect most of our area to at least have a couple of fresh inches of snow to clear off the cars and clear off the sidewalk too. So let's take a look at the hour by hour to time this out. So Friday morning, your commute to work tomorrow morning and the bus stops, those are going to be totally fine. In fact, those should be dry still. We'll just have more cloud coverage moving in. The start time, though, of the snow has moved up pretty significantly because we've seen this splitting into 2 separate sort of events now. That first wave tomorrow should actually pick up during the late morning at about 10 or 11 o'clock. Pretty much at this time tomorrow on this First Alert Weather Show, we will be tracking some snow just starting to move in from the northwest. You see this here even as we go into the afternoon. This is at about 3 o'clock. The coverage here pretty widespread for the most part. Even though the hour by hour doesn't show much snow in the thumb, I would expect, at least in the thumb, some snow showers going into the afternoon as well. Once we head towards about 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, notice that the snowfall really just kind of dies off here on the model. So certainly expecting that too. So this is where we go into that break between these 2 separate snowfalls. So that should start at about 7 or 8 in the evening, should last past midnight too. We actually don't see the second round starting up until early Friday morning. We're talking anywhere between about 3 and 5 o'clock on Friday morning. So some of these snow showers just getting started as you're heading out the door as you begin your Friday. There's those snow showers moving across our area though during the mid-morning on Friday. Towards the end of the morning though, pretty much at about noon is when most of that snow should be out of here. If we have any sort of lingering snowfall on Friday afternoon, it's mainly just going to be some lake effect, particularly in the thumb. And I'll actually go ahead and back up the hour by hour just a little bit because I do want to point this out. That's at about 4 o'clock, for example. Notice that there are some snow showers going across the thumb on Friday afternoon, just sort of following up that morning round. So again, those are the two main rounds of snow that we're tracking here for the system. And I'll take you back to the totals map again, just because I do want to point out again here, we're really only tracking about 1 to 3 inches in its entirety when you add up both of these rounds of snowfall. The first one should bring about 1 to 2, then the second one about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. So these snowfall rates, especially considering that first round of snow, because it should be snowing anywhere from about 6 to 8 hours, and you're only picking up 1 inch to about 2 inches. That does put that snowfall rate at about 1/4 inch of hour on average, really at the most. So again, not expected to be a very heavy snow. I even really wouldn't say whiteout conditions either, but still just something that we are going to be tracking for tomorrow, because once the snow does move in, it should stick around pretty steadily for the second half of your Thursday. Now we are tracking just that brief warm up again. I do have a little bit more to talk about with temperatures here. What we'll do though is we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back from the break, we'll go ahead and talk about more of those temperatures. All right, welcome back from that break. So we are going to be talking a little bit more about temperatures here as we go forward through the rest of the forecast. And also looking at the comments here on Facebook too. Good morning to Valerie. And Christopher Wilson asking, how's this weekend looking? Christopher, we'll get to the weekend here in just a second too. I do want to talk about some of these temps though real quick. So first, as we know, it's been pretty cold recently. Today actually marks day number 18 on this streak that we've continuously been below freezing. So it's been a pretty impressive stretch of cold weather that we've had as of recently. Today, so again, we're just adding to this streak with highs only up to about 22 for the afternoon. On Friday, like I was showing you before the break too, we do expect on Friday temps to be into the 30s. But for today, again, a high of 22, about 10 degrees below freezing, but up to about 34 to 35 on Friday. So with those temps that we have coming up on Friday, we are likely going to break that streak. But by then, that'll be almost a 3-week streak that we've been continuously below freezing. So certainly, again, pretty impressive stretch of cold weather. And now that does lead me into the weekend. And Christopher, I know you were asking about that there in the comments on Facebook. The weekend, I would expect even colder weather again. We do have highs in the teens. Right now sitting at about 16 on Saturday and then about 19 on Sunday. Friday night too. So after the snow passes through and that system gets out of here, we're talking a pretty cold night. Low of about 1 on Friday night. So I would expect a cold weekend ahead. But it does look pretty quiet otherwise though. So Saturday we have a partly to mostly sunny sky. I think Saturday, other than the temps, is going to be kind of like this past weekend on Sunday where we had all of that sun. So pretty nice day there, again just on the colder side. Sunday though, that's where we do have a few isolated snow showers in the forecast. So I wouldn't expect to see too much snow on Sunday. If any snow does move in, the coverage of that should be pretty limited as well. But we still put it on the forecast just because we can't totally rule out at least just a couple of sort of rogue snow showers moving through on Sunday. So I just want to make you aware of that there too. But once we go into next week, you'll also notice those smaller chances, not only for snow, but possibly even a little bit of rain trying to mix in. We do have that wintry mix on Tuesday. Isolated chance with that too. Really, we aren't seeing much of an organized chance for any sort of precipitation early next week. And I do think eventually here temperatures will be another story for next week too, because after this cold weekend, we are expecting to warm things up just a little bit for next week. And you already see that on Tuesday, 34 for the high, even though it's not on the 7-day just yet. A lot of our long-term data has been suggesting that a lot of our temps next week are likely to be in the 30s, right at about freezing, if not just above. I would say 40 is going to be a stretch for next week. I don't really see much of a chance of that currently. However, next week we should be into the 30s, mostly on a regular basis, except for Monday there, of course, at 24. And seeing Christopher here in the comments too, yeah, good ice fishing forecast this weekend. Definitely, Chris, I definitely agree with you on that. Looking pretty good for this weekend for ice fishing. And thanks to this cold weather that we've had recently, like I was saying, almost 3 weeks now that we've continuously been below freezing. It's really helped us to build up some ice coverage here across not only the Great Lakes, but especially right here on the Saginaw Bay and on the Saginaw River as well, and even a lot of the inland lakes. So I hope that you do have a good weekend ice fishing, Chris. And then Kimberly saying, just glad to see some sun. Yeah, certainly. Let me actually take you out right now to downtown Saginaw. That's a live look from the Dow. We do have kind of a mix of clouds and sun, but definitely some brighter skies right now. Some areas this morning did wake up to quite a bit of sunshine too. So definitely has been a quiet morning, been a nice morning. It just has been pretty cold out there to start off the day. It's still only about 16 degrees right now, but going forward from here for today, really again, we do have just some quieter weather in the forecast, but eventually tracking those 2 rounds of snow, one of them for tomorrow afternoon specifically, then the other round on Friday morning. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on that here. And if we do make any more changes to the snowfall map, we'll be sure to bring that to you as well. I wouldn't expect major changes, at least as of right now, at least especially totals. I don't really think they'll be going up too much more. This does, again, look to be just a fairly standard early February snow, but we just want to make you aware of that because of the timing. So your drive tomorrow, maybe if you're running some errands tomorrow afternoon, or your Friday morning commute to work, I do think that some of those are going to be a little bit more slick. That's all I have for you for the First Alert Weather Show this morning, though. So be sure to tune in at noon today. So we have First Alert meteorologist Stone Schaefer. He'll be on air in the noon newscast right on TV5. And then he'll also have a First Alert Weather Show live stream here coming up at 2 this afternoon on all these same channels that you're watching on right now. So be sure to tune in to Stone here for some midday updates. And of course, Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick also here as we go into the evening for today. But in the meantime, hope you have a great Wednesday morning and hope that you stay warm out there too. It is chilly, but enjoy some of that sun. And of course, we'll keep you updated if anything else changes for the snow.